I just profited on one of the biggest trades of the year for me, just over $100,000 trading gold. And in this video, I'm gonna break down exactly what did I do to actually take the trade and also break down the fundamental reasons behind it. Because I wanna show you guys you could implement both into your strategy, right? Because when you're looking for a technical setup, including fundamentals could actually help you with the direction. And I understand. I've been trading for about 10 years. And when I first started, people would say, stay away from the news, stay away from news headlines. But throughout my journey, I realized that was just completely wrong because you are going to be able to understand why the moves are going in that direction. And this is what's going to give you confidence behind the trade. And when I break down this video for you guys, I really hope you could start implementing this into your strategy. And I know that this is going to be an absolute game changer for you. Okay, guys? So we're going to get started here. We're going to start off with fundamental reasons, right? Why was gold actually bullish for me? Because the timing that I took this trade was Asian session, all right? So I understand because we focus on the markets all the time, right? So over Asian session after 9 p.m. Eastern, there is volume that comes into the markets, especially when you're trading gold because that's Asia Pac open. So typically when I like to trade gold, I want to make sure that I have volume behind it. But this is where I also focus on understanding gold, right? So I just want you guys to take notes because we understand gold is also a safe haven asset. So during that time, you could just see here at 8 p.m., there was a risk off market, which means market fear is coming into the markets because of a certain problem, right? And then when I saw equities was pushing lower, that further confirms that risk assets like the stock market is moving into safe havens, which is most likely gold. Okay. So understanding this is what actually gives me the idea, right? Where I should be looking for a particular direction to take gold, right? Because right here was my first entry. I took this entry November 4th and this was Asian session, as you guys could see, November 4th, all the way towards right after 9. This was like around 10 p.m. Eastern, right? And just fast forward, just so you guys could see it, because I did take 2 entries, and I'm going to explain both of the technicals, all right? So now we understand the fundamental reason, right? It was a risk-off market, but why? During that time, we did have the government shutdown. Right? People was expecting the government shutdown was going to last until next year. Understanding that it causes the markets to expect things to come worse regarding GDP and growth, right? So let me just talk to you guys. Trying to make it easier for you guys to understand. Because of the government shutdown, people is not working. So people is not spending. This also causes market fear because the government shutdown can impact GDP. It could impact growth. So this gives us a reason. That's uncertainty, right? So this gives us a reason to want to take advantage of safe havens like gold. Also, during that time, we're not having economic data, but the data that we are getting is still showing weaker growth and weaker labor data. So all of that does help us with the direction of why we've been buying gold this whole entire time. So now I just want to get into the technicals, right? When I am looking for an entry, ideally, first off, I want to see where we are at market structure because before this price started breaking higher, we was at this area of support, right? So we could just identify this zone right here, right? I like to draw these horizontal lines so I know what area I want to see price actually bounce from. So when I am looking for entries and I understand a direction and then I have a reason to take the trade, I like to go into the 5-minute time frame because those are just the best time frames in order for me to look for my entries. And before that, you could just see here, we had something called an order block, right? And I like to look at order blocks because before markets break out, right? I like to wait for consolidation. I want to see the markets consolidate. We see price points is just hitting highs, like right here, we hit a resistance, we hit a support. So you see prices just consolidating and not breaking out. So now when I'm looking for my entry, I'm waiting until price break above resistance. So this was my entry as this candle right here broke above structure. And this is because when we finally get a breakout of market structure, right? That is like the market's telling us it's a higher probability that it wants to continue within that direction, right? Make sense, guys? So this is why when you wait for a break of structure, it typically rallies in that direction. And then when I had my stop loss was below the order block. And how I like to have my stop losses, I like to put it below the range, because if it hits my stop loss, it is telling me that I am completely in the wrong direction. So if it hits that stop loss area, I would actually be looking for sales if I was a technical trader, right? So that's how I like to place my stop losses, is at an area of interest where if it goes in that direction, I'll be looking for the opposite direction. Make sense, guys? So this is what actually helped the trade. So I took advantage of these buys because, one, I had fundamental reasons that was going on. Government shutdown was actually lasting longer than expected, right? We was dealing with uncertainty regarding growth in the United States, right? Even the credit rating situations are actually bad, showing that there's a real problem in the markets, including everything else, right? Everybody buying gold. Central banks are buying gold, right? But this is what actually helps me stay in line with taking advantage of those trades. And when it comes down to taking profits, right? Remember what I said about fundamentals, right? It gave me a reason to enter the trade, right? Because I know fundamentally what is causing me to want to hold these buys, right? Makes sense? In order for me to take profit, I want to see exactly the opposite of why should I take profit. And this is why I closed yesterday, because the reasons why I entered fundamentally was because of the government shutdown causing uncertainty to the markets. Yesterday, we just saw that the government actually is ending the shutdown. So now the reasons why I entered is going away from me. So this gives me a clear reason to start taking profits on gold, right? Because now I understand the reason why I entered is reversing. Make sense, guys? So this is what helped me hold on to the trade and gave me confidence afterwards, because at the 4th, when I entered the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, everything was still the same. We didn't think that the shutdown was going to end anytime soon. But now look at today. They started talking about ending the government shutdown. Now we can see, look at these two candles on gold up here. We haven't seen any big bearish candle, probably all the way back here. But after that, more uncertainty. That was my second entry. But we're finally seeing a little bit of a reversal because we're seeing the buy pressure is coming out of the markets, okay? So I really hope that this video helps you guys, okay? Because again, when I started learning about fundamentals, it was an absolute game changer for me. And this is what helps me and also my members stay extremely consistent in the markets, because we have confidence in the direction that we're going on, okay? I hope this video helps you so that you can learn to take advantage of any opportunities probably you could look at currencies, you could look at equities. It all applies the same way. So hopefully this video helps you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one.